Hello everyone, Anina Malherbe-Lan back for VIVIDEARTH. How are you all doing? It's been an eventful week, hasn't it? It's been an eventful year, like I said. Gosh, so much is happening every day. We just need to be careful not to be distracted by meaningless stuff or to minimize our attention onto these things. As you know, I'm a strong advocate for, doing the inner work, doing what we need to do, and not just let people pull us around by our nose to notice only external things, because the power to change this world really lies within us, and that is a fact. We are creating our own reality here. So, but anyway, it's been a busy couple of days and weeks. I just wanted to kind of comment on the whole South African saga and the fact that Trump is putting a spotlight right now onto South Africa. I just want to remind people, not everything is as it seems. Don't take things at face value and just gobble them up and believe what you think is real based on what's happening right now, because we're in the middle of a spiritual war. So not everything is as it seems, and there is a game of 5D chess going on. So I'm very happy that Trump has put a spotlight on South Africa, because that means he's going to be somewhat instrumental in rooting out the cabal in this country, which is deeply entrenched. South Africa has been a captured nation for the last, 200 years, but especially in the last 100 years. Um, there's been a systematic strategy to keep a grip on South Africa and all its resources, and to divide the people as much as they can. It started with apartheid, which was instigated by, the old colonizers. And then when Mandela was freed from prison, so to speak, it was a new era for, the previously disadvantaged in South Africa, or at least it was meant to be. But it turned out to be the opposite. And, the bulk of the population is more in poverty than they've ever been before. And it's getting worse by the year. So it's the same old playbook. It happens everywhere in the world. There might be some different nuances to it, but it's the same controllers and it's the same playbook and it's the same blueprint. Okay, so, there might be different sides, whether it's ANC, DA, GNU, whatever, G and U, however you want to pronounce that. But it's all different wings of the same bird. You can be assured that any political party with any sort of real presence in this country is controlled by the same masters and simply control opposition, if you will. So it gives the people something to argue about, something to debate, something to fight for. But this is all fake, because it was set up by the very controllers that still control this country today. The ones that set up the Reserve Bank, which makes us part of the central banking system of the world, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and the other 13 families that love to control others globally, and that like to steal, pillage, and rape countries to enrich their own pockets, but also to keep people poor, dumbed down, desolate, and totally, utterly unaware of the prison system that they're actually within. All been made dead slaves. We know all of that information. I've gone down the rabbit hole for 5 years, and I can tell you a lot. And I don't know who on here, some are very advanced in their own research and their own journey of awakening, and others are new to it. So, if there are some newbies on the channel, you can ask questions, but typically my message is somebody that's a little bit more awakened already. So I can't speak to everyone, it's just too complex. But if there's more of a desire to get into the basics of what's really going on, not only in this country, but on the planet, then I'm happy to dive a little bit more into that as well, and, start from the beginning. Happy to do so. So anyway, our country has been a controlled state for many, many years. All the parties are controlled by pretty much the same masters. You see the same guys traveling to London to pay respects to the crown and, meet with the same puppet masters, including the EFF, the ANC, the DA, all of the political parties, there is rarely anyone that is allowed into the spotlight, okay, that is not controlled. So we know this. Why now? Why is Trump suddenly focusing on South Africa? Why is he now offering a refuge for all these white South Africans that have been marginalized, so to speak? Why is all of this happening now? Why is the whole land grab issue up for grabs anymore again? Why is this narrative getting into the mainstream narrative? Well, the answer is those are the key issues that have sort of plagued South Africa, but it's certainly not the only issues. And if you want to focus the spotlight on South Africa, if you want to root out the deep ingrained cabal that is here, you've got to do it strategically. You've got to get the world's attention with perhaps the more public key issues. Okay. Then you can dive deeper into other subjects. So this is what Trump is currently doing. Now, also got to remember, so he's halted all funding from USAID, who we know has been so incredibly corrupt because they've been funding wars and funding coups and woke agendas all around the world. That is just their modus operandi, including South Africa. ANC political party. Sorry, my phone is ringing. Why is it ringing? Not supposed to ring. The ANC political party has been getting a lot of funding from them, and this is being highlighted right now because people need to see where's the money going? What is it going for? Who is it coming from? Because I always say, follow the money and it'll give you the truth. And ain't that the truth? So this is coming out now. Now, I do believe the head of the snake globally has already been cut off. What you are seeing right now are sort of middle management running around like lunatics trying to remain in power and regain control, although a lot of their funding has been cut off. So now with USAID being cut or funding being cut off from many different NGOs that just funneled the money back to the politicians, which are called the middle management. There's a real problem. And in South Africa, if the big money has kind of dried up, and now USAID is drying up, funding is drying up as well, what will that mean? Well, the puppets can't be paid. And once the puppet can't be paid, well, we're going to have a problem. And it's a good problem because they're not going to act out the instructions of their masters anymore because their masters can't pay them. So this is a very important point. I do believe there's going to be much bigger issues that will be highlighted. These are just the very sort of palatable issues that most people can relate with. Okay, the expropriation of land without compensation, the white people that have been marginalized and killed, and whatnot. These are the issues that everyone knows about. What about the issues that nobody knows about, or at least the mass population? I'm thinking, the trafficking of the little ones. That's the issue that's really going to get people's attention. And when Mr. Trump says there's real evil and horrible things happening in South Africa, I believe that's what he's talking about because South Africa and Africa as a whole is one of the biggest trafficking hubs in the world. So that has to be destroyed. That has to be removed before anything else can happen. And I believe when the people find out what's really been happening under their feet, that may just unite them. So I just continue to say everything is not as it seems. And I believe before we will see an exodus of people going to the US, there will be some sort of intervention, something that will happen in this country that will change everything. And, we are not unique. Most of the countries around the world are captured in this way and will need to be removed from this octagon spider web of evil. Okay. But South Africa is actually quite a key player, although people, lots of people don't even they think Africa is a country. Africa is not a country, it's a continent. And every country in the world basically can fit into Africa. That's how big Africa is. The way that it's depicted on a map is not what is really going on. It's much bigger than depicted on the world map. Then I want you to know how big and powerful Africa actually is. And South Africa is the gateway to Africa. South Africa is a country, even though it just sounds like a region. And it's one of the wealthiest countries in the world. The amount of gold and silver and, well, mainly gold and diamonds and other resources we have is incredible. It's a very resource-rich country, and therefore one of the richest countries actually in the world if we can just get all the gold back that really belongs to this country and its people, and which we will get it back. Okay, so this is the start of the big shakeup in South Africa. You shake the bag and you see what falls out, and this is what we're going to be seeing. So this is kind of there to get the world's attention, the whole land expropriation thing. Cyril didn't just suddenly start talking about it again. He didn't just suddenly, including that narrative into his speeches. He was told to, and I believe he was told to by the White Hats, because this is how you start getting the attention and start waking up people. So people must just chill, because I see so many people, they just waste so much time and energy on social media talking about stupid shit. Sorry. And, even some people in my community that says, let the people leave, just let them, they must go. The thing is, you've got to remember that we are the 99%, and we as a collective have to start uniting. We've got to start exercising more compassion, more kindness. It doesn't matter what race, creed, or class, or culture you're in, you have been traumatized severely as a human being in your life and in previous lifetimes. Because remember, we've all played different roles. We've had thousands of incarnations, some of us mostly on other planets, some of us mostly on this planet, and it's a mixed bag, and we all a mix of different races. Seeder races have seeded this planet. We are a crossbreed of many, many different races, and this is why the human race is so special, because we are the best of the best. We have the best of the best of all the DNA that you could gather from the galaxy. I get distracted. So the point is, we are one human race. It doesn't matter if our skin color is different. It doesn't matter if some of us are more evolved than others. It's time to join hands. It's time to have compassion. It's time to exercise some kindness. It's time to infuse your area with the necessary light, the light that you carry and that you were meant to bring into the area that you were either born into or that you're living in now. And that's no accident. You're not living in the city where you're living because of an accident. It's all very, very carefully planned and mapped out. That is your life blueprint according to what you chose before you reincarnated. And so, I know that I was born for a reason here in South Africa or in Cape Town. I don't know exactly what this reason is yet. I just know I really love this country. I always have. And there's something that I'm meant to do that I'm not yet that familiar with. But I'm sure I will find out. And I've always loved the country, even when I was, trapped in the rat race and ran my business and pursued success. And I was very ambitious, and, I was pursuing material wealth and all these things. Even then, it was my deepest desire to help put this country on the map, to help not only expose the world to the beautiful craftsmanship and heart and passion that this country has to offer, the friendliness, the warmth of the people, but also to make sure that South Africa has access to everything that the rest of the world has in terms of, at the time it was, luxury brands and all the things that, because we had sanctions. So for a long time, we didn't have access to all of this stuff. And then when that was gone, suddenly luxury brands started opening shop, and that was going to be their window to the world. And it was a very important emerging market for them, just like China later began, but obviously not to perhaps to that scale. So my point is, let's be a little bit patient with one another. Let's be a bit patient with the sleepers. Like I said before, these are the younger souls. I know we get irritated. We get just like had enough because it's been such an arduous journey, but just be patient. And, the thing is, I fully believe you can look at everything. Either the glass is half empty for you or it's half full. And, I chose to stay here and I chose to see the positive in this country because it's really a beautiful country. And we have a lot of tourists flocking here despite, the crime rate. But the crime rate is pretty much the same as everywhere else, to be honest. I mean, there are areas in this country that are safer than others, but it's also about your mindset. If you're always constantly going to be afraid, and if you're constantly fearing something or focusing on something, you're bringing it into your reality. And I've just never done that. I've always been, looked at the glass half full. I've never feared anything. Yes, I've had some petty theft and that kind of thing, but never anything serious. And I love it here. And, two people living right next to one another can have completely different experiences. And this is the whole timeline issue that's playing out right now as well. And, how we actually choose our timelines, because you can have a magical time. You can be in total bliss, heaven on earth, and your neighbor can have a horrible experience and theft and accidents and bad things happening to them and their family because that's the timeline they subconsciously chose for themselves. So, but just believe that you can be in the middle of a hurricane, you can be in the middle of a war zone. If you're on the right mindset, you know how to protect yourself and you know how to unleash your own inner power, you will be safe. And so it doesn't really matter where you are in this world. So many people have had, want to know, is there going to be a tsunami where I'm living, or earthquake? Should I be moving? And, and just constantly expecting the worst is going to bring that into your reality before long. So, so I'm just saying, let's not judge people. If they want to leave, let them leave. If they want to stay, let them stay. But all I know that, everyone that's passionate about this country will lock arms, will join arms and make this country beautiful again. Make this country great again. Make South Africa great again. Okay. And this is what we're going to be doing with each and every country. There's going to be an era of peace. There's going to be an era of complete abundance and beauty. And this earth is going to be restored to its original form. All the rubbish will be removed, the pollution. That is sitting on the horizon. So if you want to get bogged down by the little details and want to freak out about this, freak out about that, debate small issues until the sun comes up, be my guest, but I wouldn't advise that. Okay, because you're missing an incredible opportunity to really unlock your own inner powers. And it's not in a kind of a boastful power trip kind of way. It is just to say that you really have everything. They say you have everything you need within you. And a lot of people think of that as it's just a saying. It's not really true. It is really true because we are the creative beings that make up our reality. And if we can just stop creating the loosh for the controllers that want us to manifest a world that is terrible and awful so they can just feed on the loosh and control us better. If that's what you want to do, then that's your choice. But I wouldn't recommend that, and I will not do that ever. So you may just decide to banish fear from your life because it doesn't really have a purpose. And I keep talking about this. Once you do that, when you command that fear to go, that fake fear that they've installed in so many people's lives, your whole world's going to change. I promise you, you're going to live in joy and love every day. Now, we still have a lot of shadows to work through as human beings, even though many of us have done the work. Many of us are doing it for the collective as well, for our ancestral line. So we're taking on a little bit extra challenges just to rid the world of the memory of trauma. And yeah, I'd say it's mainly trauma that make people the way they are today. Okay, it makes them hateful, it makes them angry, it makes them resentful, it makes them violent, it makes them just sad human beings, all because they hold on to the trauma and they're not conscious enough to work it out of the body and out of the cellular memory. You got to be prepared to do that. You got to be prepared to be still, to go within, and to work through all this stuff without judgment, just a total neutral. You see it come up, you look back, you look at where's the root of this coming from, and you see that it's no longer relevant in your life. You're holding on to a childhood trauma that is affecting you in your adult life that is completely unnecessary. And all you need to do is acknowledge it and let it go. And if we can let go of all the trauma that we're holding on to, this is going to be a much better world, because most people act from a place of trauma. They literally act from a place of trauma, but they don't even know it. For them, it's just defending themselves. And you don't need to be defensive unless a lion is attacking you, okay, or unless somebody's coming to get you for real. But other than that, there's no need to defend yourself. Once you know who you are, you don't need to defend yourself. You are just prepared to step into your authentic true self and work on unlocking those superpowers that is our destiny as a human race. If you can unlock the extra 98% of your DNA that you don't use, that is called junk DNA, which is total farce. It's not junk DNA, we're just not accessing it. So if you can work on accessing that other 98% of DNA, imagine how powerful you can be. So, drop the stupid shit. Sorry, I'm just speaking very bluntly today, because people argue over stupid shit. They debate stupid shit. They talk about stupid shit. They gossip about stupid shit. They keep themselves busy with stupid shit. They watch Netflix, eat takeaways, and criticize others. Is that the life you want to live? Do you think you're going to unlock the other 98% of your DNA through doing that? Well, the answer, unfortunately, is no. You're not even going to get close to it. You got to clean up your act. You got to clean up your life. You got to clean up your diet. You got to realize that this body vessel needs to be in top shape if you want to unlock that extra 98%. Even if we can just unlock an extra 10%, which is exactly what we will be doing when we move to 5D, because there is a frequency rise happening on the planet, and the entire planet, in fact, the entire universe will be ascending. This is just a scientifically predicted cosmic event that we're not going to be able to escape. The question is are you going to go to 5DSR, or are you going to split off and do this all over again until you learn the lesson, until you overcome your ego, until you go within and discover who you really are? Because also the ego is not going to be that present when you're 5D. Right now, it's kind of people are using it to defend themselves, to protect themselves, to partake in the survival of the fittest world that we are in. But once we get out of that fight or flight mindset, a whole new world opens up. But in order for that to happen, you've got to achieve total peace, like total peace. Your nervous system has got to be completely relaxed. You're going to have to be completely peaceful and content before you'll be allowed to reach into the higher realms. You cannot do it while you're in fight or flight. So you decide today, what what is it that you want to do? Where is it that you want to go? Do you want to continue to hold on to the old? This old world is crumbling. Everything within it is crumbling. And that is not a bad thing. Don't be sad. Don't be anxious. It's the best thing ever. For us to evolve into higher realms, to escape the false matrix that we've been captured into, it is the most beautiful thing that can ever happen on this planet. And it is happening as we speak. It's a once in a 19 billion year event that has been prophesied. And if you look at the precession of the equinoxes and all the astrological alignments and astronomical alignments of our planet and where we are moving towards in the solar system, then you will realize that it's not an accident. Um, it's our destiny. And, like the caterpillar is prepared to evolve, is prepared to break itself down completely in order to become a butterfly. So, like the caterpillar, you've got to completely surrender and not worry about what's waiting on the other side. That is just being a control freak. And we've done so much of this on this planet. I've had to let go of that as well because I was number one. I was the number one control freak. Okay, I know all about it, and I've had to let go and, seek peace instead of, wanting to control every single detail. And that happens when you're business and, the workforce is perhaps not as good as it is in other places around the world, but you want to achieve a world-class result. So it will make you, I promise you, a control freak because you'll want to check every single detail to make sure that the end result is world-class. And that sticks with you once you've been there. It sticks with you, and it's very hard to let go. But I've managed to let it go, and I've never had so much peace. I literally, I'm always dancing and whistling and singing, and I've always got a spring in my step. I'm so content, and I don't need stuff to make me happy. And I hope you realize that you don't need stuff to make you happy either. It's not that you can't have stuff, but you can't be attached to it, and it can't be conditional. Your pursuit of happiness cannot be conditional. I will be happy when I get this. I will be happy when I achieve that. I will happy when this happens. I'll be happy when that man, enters my life. Whatever it may be, I'll be happy when I can go on holiday. I'll be happy when I have money. I'll be happy when I can have freedom. Just be happy. Just don't need any of that stuff to be happy. And in fact, it's just a recipe for disaster because you'll always be craving more and you'll never find the peace if you're always looking outside of you for things and places and circumstances to make you happy. So I choose to stay in South Africa and to be happy. Okay. I don't need whatever to be happy. I'm just happy because I know my own worth and I know my own abilities and I know what's waiting for us in New Earth. And I know it's going to happen no matter what. And I know it's our destiny. And I am happy as if it's already here. And I am creating my own heaven on earth wherever I am and wherever I go. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. I can still get triggered. I can still get upset, but I'm moving through those states much easier now because because I am mindful. So I'm very mindful of my own behavior, my own feelings, my own state of mind, and I can change it in a heartbeat because I've practiced how to do that. And you can do that as well. You can play with it. You can experiment with it. Just try it a couple of times until you see, whoa, that actually works. I can flip the script anytime I wish. I can just decide, no, this is not what I want. This is not my reality. I'm choosing happiness and joy and beautiful circumstances around me because you attract everything that happens to you in your life. That's why it's important to get out of victimhood, because victimhood is is the biggest thing that's going to keep you attached to the 3D matrix, because that is a number one mindset for anyone trapped in the matrix. They always blame somebody else for things happening in their lives, or the lack of things happening in their life. It's always somebody else's fault, or the circumstances, or whatever, world affairs, or whatever. And once you realize that, no, you're actually creating your own reality, and you attracting towards you. You're like a mirror, okay? Whatever you put out in the field is just going to come back to you. There's a fact. And I want you to just start experimenting with that. Start experimenting with putting good things out into the field. Good vibrations, high vibrations, love, joy, peace, harmony, compassion, kindness, grace, abundance mindset, beauty. See beauty around you, and it will be there. So you choose what you focus on. There can be two people living next to each other. One can have heaven on earth. The person next door can have hell on earth. Just remember that. So you are much more powerful than you think. Once you know that you're not a victim of your circumstances, you realize that you're actually a powerful alchemist and manifester. That's why we should never manifest what they want us to manifest, because they're looking to keep us small, um, dumbed down, sad, angry, resentful. That's what the controllers, want from us. Are you going to give them that? You think you're going to get rid of them by giving them more of that? No. You get rid of them by giving them the opposite. Okay. If you focus on all the beautiful things, they're not going to be able to survive here, because the frequency of the planet's going to go up so much. They're just not going to be able to survive. They're just going to like poof, disappear. They can't exist in high frequency. None of the archons, the egregores, the demons, the AI, none of it can survive in high frequency. So that is your secret weapon. That literally is your superpower, creating high frequency within the body and around you. And just remember, if you don't consent to something, it cannot be forced upon you. And I'm talking about not just out in the physical world, but also spiritually. You can't be attacked if you do not consent to that. If you hold a high frequency at all times, you cannot have spiritual attacks. You cannot have AI attack you. You got to make sure that you start your day right, that you do your affirmations, that you do your do not consent practice every day. Once you do that, you'll be untouchable. We are untouchable in our original form, which is high frequency, happy, healthy, abundant beings. We can rise above all of the shit that throws us. And just remember, it's all temporary. It's going to go away soon. So don't sit there and suffer in silence and just say, oh, I can't wait. When is this happening? When is the RV happening? When is the GCR happening? When is, they're going to take away this government? When is this happening? Just be joyful, because we are so moving in the right direction, okay? We are so moving in the right direction. We're creating heaven on earth, but we need you. We need every one of you to create that heaven on earth around you, because guess what? It's going to come so much faster. We can either slow it down or we can speed it up. So you can speed it up by creating that heaven on earth around you and within you right now. You have that ability. It's all in the mind. Are you going to let that mind lead you by the nose? Are you going to let that mind run around like a wild horse? Or are you going to tame that mind and use that mind for creating heaven on earth? Because you can do that, but it's up to you. The mind works for you. You don't work for the mind. Just remember that. So if you have a scattered mind that is just running in different directions and focusing on negative stuff, you got to get a grip of it. How do you tame a wild horse? Patience, perseverance. Just, every time, just bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Show that horse that it is safe to be within your body. It doesn't need to be running in 10 different directions. It's safe just to be. And once you do that, it will obey. It will obey you. Yeah. The mind will do as it's told, not as it wants to. Because otherwise, they're going to be beings hijacking your mind. There are many beings that are standing ready to hijack your mind unless you're prepared to, control it, tame it, and gently guide it in the right direction. Okay? Don't force it. Just gently guide it, show it that it's safe. So, guys, we've got a lot more work to do, but it's fun work. It's really, really fun work. Discovering your own abilities, becoming more sensitive. The healthier you get, the more sensitive to energy you become. The more you are at peace, the more sensitive to energy you become. And the more these things start floating into your life, all these miraculous things will just float into your life, and it will just be there without, big dramas or announcements. It will just be there. Okay, because you have created the safe and sacred space for it to enter your life. And you've realized that you are the creator being. You are the Messiah that you've been waiting for. You are your own Messiah. You are your own savior. Okay. And believe me, if you do this work, you're going to be helping the white hats and the lions so much because they need us to come to the party. They need us to contribute to the shifting energy on the planet for them to do their work and for them to make the next move. Yes, you are not a victim. You are not helpless. You are part of the White Hat Alliance and you have an important role to play. So I hope you know that. I hope you know how magnificent you are, how incredibly beautiful and gifted you are without being egotistical about it, but just like realize your own divinity and you're really like, wow, I never knew that about myself. I can see that now. I can see clearly now. And I'm going to be creating magic all around me. So yeah, this started out as I wanted to say something about South Africa, where it's going and just what I'm observing. And it's changed into something quite different and almost esoteric. But if we don't realize that that is the world that we're moving into, we're moving into the esoteric world. The age of Aquarius is all about spirituality, higher mind. It's also about technology, but in its higher expression, it's about beautiful technology, organic technology that help rather than harm. So that age of Aquarius is all about the mind. It's all about the higher consciousness. It's all about the spiritual era that we're moving into. It's all about creating community, taking hands, helping one another. That's what the age of Aquarius is about. So, and we're going into, we kind of, some people say we're already in it. I believe we've got like 1 foot in and we still have to move a little bit. And just remember, tomorrow is a full moon, the 12th of January. So make it count. Take some time to meditate. Take some time to manifest beautiful things. All you have to do is imagine. That's what our imagination is for. Not as a useless tool to daydream with, but that is a tool that is there to help you manifest. And every time you imagine beautiful things happening, you are contributing to that process. If your imagination is hijacked, you're watching Netflix, you're watching dark series and depressing series on Netflix, you help create more of that because you're now imagining that even further and it's multiplying. Okay, you're giving it power. So switch off the Netflix, do educate yourself on subjects that you want to know more about, but don't give yourself over to other masters and gurus and people that you think will do it for you because you are the one that's the most powerful in your life, in your environment. The moment you give away your power is the moment that stops working. That creational power stops working. So don't give yourself away to others. You can listen on subjects that you want to learn about, but don't, you know, use your own discernment, use your own inner standing to alchemize that information and create something out of it instead of just following somebody blindly and believing whatever they're saying. So always put it through your own filter to realize and, you know, feel with your heart and your gut to see if it's really true for you, if it resonates, if it's going to help you. But realize that you have a lot of that information within you as well. You just need to be still enough to actually tap into it. That's how you tap into it. When your whole body is relaxed, when your whole nervous system is relaxed, when you are at peace, when you're in that sort of theta brainwave state, that is when you are most powerful. That is when you start creating. So go out there, do your thing. Don't get distracted. And I will see you guys very soon. I'll be back with an interview with SG Anon in the next day or two. So I'll see you then. Remember to subscribe, Telegram, subscribe in the video description. All the links are in there. Make sure you subscribe, share this content, and I'm sending you all so much love.